They call him Seatin, the man of legends.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Empyrean core video guide. My name is Seatin, and in today's video we're going to be teaching you how to do this dungeon to a fairly reasonable standard. An important part for this dungeon is that all your DPS have AoE specs. The trash is very annoying, and AoE specs have AoE CC, which is very useful for hard-hitting and annoying trash. The first boss is called Cobarde. He is in this container, you pull a lever and it viciously mutates him. As a spoiler alert, every lever is the wrong lever, but he will still try to guilt trip you every time. This boss will punish bad players who cannot move out of bad stuff. Basically, his mechanics are 1, you need to stay slightly spread out because he's going to do an AoE debuff, which is uncleansable on a random player. 2, he will spawn a sprout that will slowly grow into a full plant. If that plant is fully grown, it will basically spam root random members of your party, making them unable to void AoE and die. Kill this sprout fast or everybody dies. Number 3 is a mechanic called Destroy Everything. Basically, the boss will teleport to one of the 10 canisters on the wall and basically trigger it to explode after 5 seconds. You need to line of sight the canister that is exploding and not the boss itself. You can see this by a large pulsing red AoE, and also on the wall that canister will be lit up. Apart from that, there are 2 other mechanics, which is Manic Assault. He'll randomly grip in a player, and then the tank and or everyone needs to very quickly interrupt the boss, and also this frontal and backward and both sides AoE cone of death that you will see. It's an important kind of thing that you stay fairly close to the boss just to make avoiding that mechanic very easy. Apart from that, guys, this boss, as long as you can get the movement from that AoE and the line of sighting right and the DPS on the sprouts, it is a fairly easy boss to kill. The second boss is a set of Caliban's bodyguards, Straws and Mercutial. This pair of bodyguards are absolutely face roll. Regardless of whether or not you actually do the mechanics or not, you probably won't die, providing that your healer is conscious, as nothing really takes anyone below about 50% health, even if they do fail to the biggest AoEs possible. So basically just, simple tactics to avoid taking damage. When she does enter the warp, which is that large purple circle around her, you need to run to her. For this reason, you need to tank Straws near her. A DPS want to burn Straws first, and then go on Mercutial. It's really kind of as easy as that. He's going to drop AoEs, get him out of the AoEs, ensure you don't stand on them. She needs to be interrupted if you see her casting Fingers of Desecration, but that really doesn't deal too much damage. Basically, this boss is not a threat to anyone. Purging Shot, that purges stacks off Straws if he's left long enough, alive long enough. But, providing you nuke the crap out of him and then nuke the crap out of her, you really have nothing to worry about on that boss. Very easy. Again, guys, I want to reinforce that if you AoE the trash and have specs like Saboteur and Cabalist and Dominator, they are going to be 100 times easier, because they won't deal any damage to the tank, and makes the healer's life also 100 times easier. That is a very strong statistic there. AoE CC is love. AoE CC is life. This is the third boss, known as the Mad Doctor. He has mechanics, all of which are fairly straightforward. However, nobody seems to understand this boss apart from me. 2 types of ads will spawn. Big ads, the mutant ads, and small ads. The big mutant ads basically apply a snare debuff to the smaller ads, slowing them. The smaller ads will charge after a random player, thus killing them if they reach them, so you use the big ad to snare the small ads, and it's GG. The small ads are called Dissolving Mutants. There's also going to be something called an Unstable Experiment. This needs to be gripped to the boss and killed on top of the boss to basically bring down his shield. Once the shield is down, then DPS can go full nuke on the boss and try and burn him down within 1 shield phase. If not, most groups can manage to survive to the second, but DPS literally need to hit nothing here apart from the Unstable Experiment when it's on the boss, and the boss once his barrier is down. Apart from that, the tank wants to try his absolute best to basically kite the bigger ads over the smaller ads, and all the ads are going to kill themselves over time. So basically DPS just don't even bother with them. Focus on getting those Unstable Experiments down on the boss, and the boss when he doesn't have a shield up. This is the fourth boss, Core, and much like the second boss, he is a very, very easy and straightforward mechanically speaking. The main thing that you need to look out for is an ability called Radiation. Basically, the boss is going to cast this, and then he's going to charge toward a random player and put a bubble around himself. The bubble will deal about 20k damage every 0.5 seconds, so basically, if you get within kind of like 10 meters or melee range of the boss, you are going to die during this. So when he casts Radiation, everybody needs to run and continue to run away from the boss. After he's finished casting Radiation, he's going to cast something called Alter Force, which will lift everybody up and knock them back, dealing about 25 to 35k damage to everybody in your party. Again, this isn't really a too heavy damage mechanic. I mean, if you took a couple of ticks of Radiation, you might die from it. Just try and position yourself so that you get knocked back anywhere apart from into kind of the pool of water or toxic radiation. Well, it's essentially water, doesn't deal any damage to you, so yeah, just don't get knocked back into the water or the middle. Just try and stay against a wall, or that you get kind of knocked back far along the platform. So yeah, it's not too bad at all. 25% he's going to cast Frenzy. Doesn't really do anything in this phase apart from charge around randomly, so you can either, you know, just let him charge around randomly, or all stack on the boss to, you know, share the damage. He casts a small pulsing AoE around him. It really is nothing to worry about. Once it's at 25%, it's a free kill. You can do whatever you want, the boss is gonna die. The final boss in this dungeon is Prince Caliban, and he is a large and very, very angry gorilla man. His mechanics are that he is going to do a very, very large frontal AoE cleave cone that will be always cast on sort of the tank, so DPS want to stand either behind him or to the side of him. What we have is we have all of our DPS and healers stacked up to the left for a mechanic that I'm going to explain later. One of the things you'll notice is around the outskirts of the room are these kind of little Empyrean cores. If one of these gets hit by the cone, then they will become active. The tank will want to try and ensure that the second AoE cone hits an Empyrean core for a mechanic that I'm going to explain in a bit. Now, aside from this, from the tank's perspective, you just want to be moving out of the mushroom AoEs that he'll continually put down on you. You'll notice shortly after this second large AoE cone in front of him, he will glare at a random member of the group. If that member of the group runs into an active core, Caliban will charge into that core, get stunned for 15 seconds, and take double damage. It is a clear winner. Try and do this, it makes the fight very, very easy. Now, aside from this, there are two other mechanics I quickly want to recap. So there's his skin begins to glow. Basically, you need to face away from him and then face back to him and quickly interrupt, or your party will basically take a lot of damage from an ability known as Vitality Leap. There will also be a debuff on a random member of the party. Basically, your healer has a choice. You can either heal through this debuff and it will deal large single target damage to the ally effective, or you can dispel this debuff and it will deal large amounts of AoE damage. It's better for most healers not to dispel it though, and it's a bit of a waste of time to do so. So that is it for Empyrean Core. If you have any questions, comments, or anything like that, feel free to leave them in the description of the video, and I will do my best to answer them. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, or want to give me lots of money, please check out the description of the video or the comments section. Thank you once again for watching, and have a great day.